Just recently in Israel, not too far from the Temple Mount, there was a tremendous treasure that was found. A minted bronze coin that had on it, "For the redemption of Zion." And this was minted in the 4th year of the Great Revolt that occurred just prior to the destruction of the Second Temple. This coming Saturday night and Sunday, we are observing the 9th of Av. It's the saddest day of our Jewish calendar, and it marks the destruction of both our first temple and second temple. The second temple being in the year 6970. So this coin was minted literally within the last couple of months before Jerusalem and the temple fell. What we find interesting is that there were previous minted coins that also had a saying on it, but it was different than this. The prior coins had on it "For the freedom of Zion," and this one had "For the redemption of Zion." And there's a difference between the two, because at some point when the revolt began and the Jews felt that there was a momentum and a potential success of them being able to win over the Romans and being able to completely get them out of Jerusalem and Israel, they felt, and they were praying and were propagating and were minting coins that gave everybody the sense that they would be able to accomplish the freedom of Zion from their oppressors. But as the end was beginning to feel that it was closer than they imagined, just towards the end, when the Romans were unfortunately able to massacre hundreds of thousands of Jews and destroy our temple, they minted a coin that instead of the word freedom, they wrote "For the redemption of Zion." The difference between freedom and redemption is that the freedom, you feel that it's something that you're capable of achieving. That I'm able to be victorious over my oppressor. And for the redemption is something that we as Jews pray for 3 times a day. In our silent prayer, in our most holiest of prayers, we ask Hashem to please bring back the descendants of King David to usher in the coming of Mashiach. And so maybe they were actually beginning to realize that they're not going to be able to accomplish this on their own, that they're going to need a godly intervention. From the beginning of time, we have always, Ani Mamin Ben Muna Shalema, we as Jews have believed with complete faith that once our exile started, once the destruction of the first temple occurred by the Babylonians, that we would one day return secure with our temple and have not just a momentary freedom, but to have a redemption, an ultimate redemption, that would usher in peace, self-governance for the rest of all time. You know, it says that on Tisha B'Av, at the very destruction of the temple, we have by tradition that it's the day that Mashiach was born. Now obviously it doesn't mean the Messiah was born on that Tisha B'Av, it would make him very old. But it meant that we didn't even have to wait a day. The potential for bringing about a complete and utter and final redemption had already begun. That is the hope of the Jewish people. And as we think about the situation in Israel today, we begin to wonder that we are doing so much to be able to grant peace and safety to the Jewish people, and yet as much as we try, the world continues to be greater haters and bigger anti-Semites. How are we going to accomplish that we're going to get out of this mess? And the truth is, we've come to realize that we are not in complete control of our freedom. But together with what we do in our prayers, we do have a chance of and at redemption. So as we come into this Tisha B'Av, which is only a day and a half away, may Hashem bless us that this Shabbos, which the entire Messianic era is compared to Shabbat, that we will somehow experience, not something that we're capable to do on our own, but because God can accomplish it, a redemption, not a freedom, a redemption that will bring about the coming of Mashiach, our building of our third temple, peace upon Israel, and no more war and no more bloodshed, even before Shabbat ends, so that the real Mashiach being born on Tisha B'Av will be proven to us, because this year we will not have to observe Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. Have an amazing Shabbat.